Welcome, dear Odooers, to the first video in this series on Odoo Accounting. Odoo Accounting has all the features of other accounting applications like handling invoices, bills, and payments, reconciling these records with your bank transactions, and managing budgets. But on top of that, Odoo has loads of other benefits, most important of which is its integration with the rest of the apps in your Odoo database, making your accounting processes easier than ever. In this series, we'll follow our new plants and supplies company, Bloom, as we explore the most important features of the Odoo Accounting app and touch on the basic accounting concepts needed to follow along. So let's get started by explaining Odoo Accounting's layout so that you can navigate easily and find everything you need. So here we are in our Bloom database, and the first thing we'll do is open the accounting app. Now, your database might look slightly different depending on what's called your company's fiscal localization. Different countries have different accounting requirements and norms, so fiscal localizations are Odoo's way of making sure that your database meets all of your country's regulations. If you had the wrong country set when you created the database, or if for any other reason you want to change your fiscal localization, we can do that by going to Configuration, Settings, and setting the fiscal localization right here. One really important thing to note here is that once you make your first journal entry, you won't be able to change the fiscal localization. So make sure that you have that set correctly before you get started making your invoices and bills. If we scroll down, we can see all the different settings related to the accounting app. This page contains everything from your defaults for your taxes, to managing settings related to your customer invoices, to determining how you want to handle digitizing your documents. And you can easily search for settings both in the accounting and across other apps by using the search bar right here at the top. Next, let's go through the different menu items. If you ever want to get back to your accounting dashboard, simply click on the dashboard menu item. You'll see here we have a Kanban view with one card for each of the journals. From here, we can quickly and easily handle the most common workflows in the accounting app, such as creating a new customer invoice in our sales journal, uploading a vendor bill in our purchases journal, reconciling our bank transactions in the bank journal, and we can even create a new journal by clicking on the New button at the top, and here we could create a new journal, for instance, if we have another bank account that we want to keep track of. Under the Customers menu, we have all of our options related to customers. Invoices, credit notes, payments, direct debit mandates for customers who have given us the authorization to charge their accounts directly, and more. The Vendors menu is similar with their vendor bills, refunds, payments, batch payments for creating payment files such as SEPA and NACHA, etc., and more. The accounting, review, reporting, and configuration menus have really useful items that might be a little more intimidating to those who are less familiar with accounting. So before we dive all the way into the menus themselves, let's cover a few of the basic terms that we're going to see throughout this video and the whole series. Under the review menu, we have journal items. And a journal item is simply an amount that is being added to or subtracted from an account. Each journal item is either a debit or a credit, depending on if it's a positive or negative amount. This view is really useful, especially when you group or filter to show exactly what you're looking for. For example, I sometimes like to group by journal entry, which is just a combination of journal items that must be balanced, meaning it must have an equal value of debits and credits. Every customer, invoice, vendor bill, and bank transaction creates a journal entry to track the accounting moves related to that record. Note that this is different from another menu item we have under the accounting menu called Journal Entries. The Journal Items view, grouped by journal entries, shows more details about the individual journal items, whereas the Journal Entries view provides more information about the journal entry as a whole. So they're both really useful depending on what information you're looking for. Jumping over to the configuration menu, we have a menu item for journals. And a journal is simply a way of organizing your journal entries. For example, if you remember back on the dashboard, we have our different Kanban cards to keep track of our sales entries like customer invoices versus our purchase entries like vendor bills versus our bank transactions. So to review, a journal item is just a debit or credit to an account. A journal entry is a group of journal items that has an equal balance of debits and credits. And a journal is a way of organizing your journal entries so that you can keep your customer invoices separated from your vendor bills and your bank transactions. Now that we understand those basic accounting concepts, let's take a look at the rest of our menus. In the accounting menu are more features like setting up automatic transfers, analytic items and budgets, assets, and loans. Plus, we also have a few actions like reconciling our journal items and setting lock dates to prevent users from posting entries after a specified date. These are all explained in other videos further in the series, so be sure to check those out. In the review menu, we have more information we may want to review, like our inventory valuation, the depreciation schedule for our assets, and an analysis of our loans. This is also where you can create an annual audit report that combines your standard financial reports with other information that you can customize to meet your needs. Moving on to the reporting menu, we can find the general ledger. And the general ledger is a view of all of our accounts with each account's balance of debits and credits. We can expand each account to see the journal items that add up to their balance, and we can even view the general ledger across a specific period of time. Other key items in the reporting menu include your standard financial statements like the balance sheet and the profit and loss statement, as well as partner reports like our partner ledger and aged payables and receivables, and our tax return. The configuration menu includes the settings that we saw earlier, and it also includes different features to set up like payment terms, taxes, and the chart of accounts, as well as a lot of other useful features, most of which are covered in this series. Those are just the basics to get you ready for the rest of this series on Odoo Accounting, so buckle up. That's all for this video. This has been your pal Dal. I'll see you in the next one.